What you hear is what you feel.
Welcome to episode 3 of Lyrical Irical. I am sat here with my illustrious co-host, Paz. Say hello, Paz.
Hi, Paz.
Hi, Paz. Good week, Paz. Good week in Paradise. Oof, that was low.
Well, always lovely in Paradise, of course.
Paradise, yeah. What did you make of the last show? Did you enjoy listening back to it, or?
Well, apart from the insults, it's all good.
They were more insults at R. Kelly and not yourself, so I think paedophiles deserve to be mocked, don't they? Not Paz, of course, R. Kelly. We should just clarify. We started off on the wrong foot again here, haven't we? But yes, R. Kelly does deserve nothing. Well, he deserves no respect from us, does he?
No.
Moving swiftly on. So, episode 3 already. 2 good episodes under the old locker so far, in the old vault, in the back burner. What will we get today? For those that haven't heard the first 2 shows, Paz, would you like to explain briefly what the concept of the show is?
In brief, we use a random song generator that then generates a song. We will then listen to the song, look at the lyrics, and break it down to what they mean to us.
Yep, our own interpretation. Everyone's got their own interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
I think a psychologist said to me once, every person that reads a newspaper, they bring their own background and their own political view to every story they read. So similar with songs, every song we listen to, we're going to bring a little piece of ourselves to the song, aren't we?
Exactly.
Yeah, which is why the format has seemed so exciting, and the feedback we've received so far has been nothing short of really positive, and people enjoying the show and the concept. So one of the reasons is, I imagine, they want to hear us talk about music rather than waffling on about R. Kelly and how wonderful we are.
That might be the reason, yeah.
Yeah. So let's go to the random song generator.
What song will we get?
First song of the week we have got from 1978. Written by Dino Fakaris and Freddie Perrin. And this song is a classic by Gloria Gaynor, Paz.
Okay.
I Will Survive. Yeah, Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive. So I'm not going to read anything about the song in the random song generator, so it doesn't slant our interpretation of the song. So we shall just print the lyrics off and we'll listen to it, and we'll see you on the other side.
Unfortunately, the following track cannot be played. Search for it and see what you think.
And that was Gloria Gaynor's classic, I Will Survive, from 1978. Released on Polydor. Let's just have a look how it got on in the charts. VH1 named it their number 1 in the 100th greatest dance songs of all time. It got to number 1 in Ireland, Canada, UK, US dance songs, US Billboard Hot 100, US Cashboard, number 1 all around the world, Canada, flying. So yeah, it is an all-time classic. I think there's not a person in the world that doesn't know that song, is there really?
Maybe the kids that have not been born and the ones that are just kids.
Well, I imagine there are some that haven't heard it, but most people maybe of 10 years and older, I don't know, maybe 20 years and older, everyone knows that song, don't they?
It's been all over the place, yeah.
It has been since 1978. I think women seem to use it as an empowerment song, don't they? So what was your first take of that song then, Paz?
Well, obviously I knew the song that was coming up, but taking it bit by bit and what the words are actually saying, and that it is what the title says. I will survive after a breakup, thinking you can't go on and things, and then after a little bit of time you get over it, don't you? And you carry on, you build your life, and you get stronger, and you find a new love. Yeah,
a little bit of digging though, even in that first verse there, has Gloria saying that she left him with a key and he suddenly turned up back at her place. Oh, no wonder the poor girl couldn't get any closure. Then maybe she was secretly hanging on or glutton for punishment, thinking he might come back one day. So despite all the positive intent of the first verse there, it turns out she left him with a key and then he turned up one day and let himself back into her flat.
Yeah, and she blames the lock, calling it stupid. I mean,
I think it was more Gloria's fault than the lock's fault, wasn't it? I think we have to look at it like that. Yeah, it's she seems to be. I've also written down here. She kind of seems to be trying to convince herself that she's over him, doesn't she? There seems to be a lot of projecting and saying, "Yeah, you're nothing to me." You know what I mean? But she doth protest a bit too much, doesn't she? I think.
Well, yeah, she goes on a bit, doesn't she?
She does. So we start. At first, I was afraid. I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights thinking about how you did me wrong, and I grew strong. So she's kind of resigning herself to the fact that she's made the right decision because he's done a lot of wrongs to her. Yeah. I learned how to get along, and so you're back from outer space. That's what they say, isn't it? Exes should be fired off into outer space and never seen again. I just walked in to find you here with that sad look upon your face. I should have changed that stupid lock. I should have made you leave your key. If I'd have known for just 1 second, you'd be back to bother me.
Well, should have done it in the time, isn't it? Got the key and all that stuff.
That again, it makes me think that maybe Gloria was just secretly hoping that he might come back, you know. So we go on now, go walk out the door. So he's turned up with a sad look on his face, and she's just saying, get out of here now. Just turn around now, because you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to hurt me with goodbye? You think I'd crumble, you think I'd lay down and die. So it sounds like he finished with her by those words. Would you agree, Paz?
I would agree with that, yeah. He's said, see you later. She's like, no, this ain't happening. And it's taken her a little bit of time to get over him, and then he's turned up again. And
now she's trying to decide whether to bite off her nose to spite her face, because she's struggling with some emotional connection and attachment to him again there, isn't she, by the sound of it? So she's being strong, which is the sentiment of the song, I guess. Mm-hmm. Oh no, not I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. I've got all my life to live, and I've got all my love to give, and I'll survive. I will survive. Hey, hey.
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey, we're the Monkeys.
And then a nice breakdown goes there.
Yep, nice little. So I'm deliberately not doing the right melody so we don't get struck off by these algorithms which recognise the songs. I probably just ripped off another song, haven't I? It sounds
probably
like that.
There's some song out there that sounds
Millennium, Robbie Williams,
just
one
in the exact key
from
there.
the James Bond. Right, so then we go to the second verse. It took all the strength I had not to fall apart. Kept trying to mend the pieces of my broken heart. And I spent so many nights just feeling sorry for myself. I used to cry. But now I hold my head up high and you can see me. Somebody new. I'm not that chained up little person still in love with you. And so you felt like dropping in and just expect me to be free. Well, now I'm saving all my loving for someone who's loving me. The plot thickens, Paz. She's
seeing someone else?
Someone else, yeah. And she's not a little girl anymore. She's growing up, so it seems like a few years. God, he's had the key to the flat all these years.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
He could have been coming in and out, spying on her when she's asleep, stealing her cereal.
That's a totally new song, isn't it?
Yeah, it could have been. Like, maybe that's where Eminem got Stan from, the old stalker. Maybe this guy was Stan in the song. Then we get 4 versions of the chorus, actually. You know, the classic chorus that everyone knows. They don't need me to sing it in my ham voice. And just go on now, walk out the door. Just turn around now because you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to break me with goodbye? You think I'd crumble? You think I'd lay down and die? Paz, I went and sang it, didn't I? After promising I wouldn't. But what a classic song, you know. What a classic song. Do you want me to read what the song was about, or have you got any other interpretations before we move on to the official?
I don't know. I don't think I have any other...
I have nothing else to give. I've got nothing left to give. Right, according to Dino Fakaris, who you'll recall wrote the song, the principal writer of the song, I Will Survive has its genesis in an experience getting fired by Motown Records in the mid-70s after 7 years working there as a staff writer. Jobless, he turned on the TV in his room and a theme song he had written for the film Generation happened to be playing. He took it as a good omen and jumped up and down on the bed saying, I'm going to make it, man. I'm going to be a songwriter. I will survive. Bollocks. What a load of nonsense. Fakaris teamed up with his collaborator Freddie Perrin, another member of the Motown production team, to write the song. However, the song remained unrecorded for 2 years as no suitable singer was available. Are you believing this?
Yeah, it sounds like one of those stories,
Mickey Mouse, isn't it? In Mickey Mouse. In 1978...
What's that got to do with lock and key and all that stuff?
Yeah, exactly. It's very literal, isn't it, about the breakup. Unless they mean him getting kicked out of Motown with like Why would he have the key still? Maybe he had the key to Motown.
Yeah.
Maybe he was confessing to crimes. He broke in the night and used to erase tapes
into his
and stuff.
house. Yeah, they just snuck into his house and said, "Do you want to come work with us again?"
So the plot thickens. In 1978, Perrin was asked by Polydor to produce a song called Substitute for Gloria Gaynor, which she agreed to on the undertaking that he could also produce a B-side for the singer. I can see what he's doing here.
Yeah.
I can see what he's doing. When Gaynor was asked what kind of songs she liked, she said, songs that are meaningful, have good lyrics, and touch people's hearts. So why did he record that one then? Boom, boom, tsh. The producers then handed out his song lyrics of I Will Survive, scribbled on a piece of brown paper. I don't know why that's relevant. The colour of the paper is relevant. Gaynor recognised the song as a hit immediately. According to Robert, in inverted commas, Boogie, close inverted commas, Bowles, Robert Boogie Bowles, who played guitar on the song, in the 3-hour recording session, the session musicians spent most of their time recording the A-side, Substitute. As a result, they only had 35 minutes left to record the B-side, I Will Survive. They also did not even know the title or the melody of the song. They were fairly relaxed recording it in the belief that the B-side would never be aired or released or played. Based on the chord changes and a few notes, they improvised freely during much of the backing track, and Bowles later filled in the bare bones of the tune with jazzy blues licks. Due to the difference in the intro from the main body of the tune, which made the transition difficult, it was recorded in 2 parts and then spliced together. Gaynor then recorded the vocals wearing a back brace, having just had surgery due to a fall at a concert. The injury and a recent bereavement made Gaynor identify with the sentiment of I Will Survive. That's why I was able to sing the song with such conviction.
It's very handy.
Yeah, maybe the guy, this Dino Farakis guy, broke into her house and he was putting butter on the floor, which made her fall over or something. I don't know. He's got the key, hasn't he, to break in and stuff. Although Gaynor was convinced that I Will Survive would be a hit, she had to persuade the label to release it as an A-side. The label refused to entertain such an idea, and it was still released as a B-side to Substitute. Gaynor's husband, however, took the song to the Studio 54 DJ Richie Kazor, who loved the song and played it ahead of the original A-side. She also gave the DJ a stack of records to give to his friends. Blue, 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 and it all escalated from there, and it's number 1 in the list of greatest dance songs of all time in VH1.
So basically, rather than preparing and stuff, go to a studio, 30 minutes left, just see what happens. Yeah,
a lot of the best songs are recorded because you don't get that. You don't overthink it, do you? You just do what's right, what serves the song best sometimes. When you don't overthink it and think, I've got to have a complicated chord in there, I need to have a really clever lyric. Sometimes the best songs are just written stream of consciousness, aren't they? Famously, Yesterday by... Was it Yesterday or Let It Be by Paul McCartney? He said his mother Mary came to me speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. It was Let It Be. I was just working out which song it was that he wrote stream of consciously. It was Let It Be. Yeah, so a lot of the best songs are written, they're not overthought, are they?
No.
No? Have you ever had that phase where you thought about a song for ages and you get bored of the idea and then drop it on and just write a new one and it's better than the idea?
I'm usually just doing it on the spot anyway, so
that's how dare me insinuate that you write any duds. All your songs are classics, aren't they?
I don't know what that is.
So yeah, that was I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. We don't need to talk too much about that one. As I say, VH1's dance music #1 song of all time. Good start to the show, Paz.
Lovely show.
Yeah, you loving it, are you?
It's a lovely show, yes.
We should probably do our next track, shouldn't we? So if you'd like to fire up the random song generator.
What song will we get?
We have got... What have we got? It's stopping now. I like this one. Well, I like it in principle. I've heard a lot of people mention this artist, but until recently, I never put 2 and 2 together to realise that she actually wrote this song that we're about to listen to today. So the artist is Joan, Jett and the Blackhearts.
Okie doke.
And the song is I Love Rock and Roll.
I love rock and roll.
Do you know that one?
Is it I Love Rock and Roll?
And it goes, I love rock and roll. Yeah, you know that one. Okay, I'm not going to read the blurb as to what it's about. So this song is Joan, Jett and the Blackhearts, I Love Rock and Roll.
Unfortunately, the following track cannot be played. Search for it and see what you think.
And that was Joan Jett's version of I Love Rock and Roll, or as I should say to introduce you all, as the refrain and the riff in the song goes. So what did you think of that one then, Paz?
Well, I don't know where to start. I mean, I'm not sure how old she's supposed to be. I know it's a cover version, but
spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's a cover version, and she's lusting after a 17-year-old. It says about 17, which is we're assuming he might be younger.
Well, hold your horses there, Paz. So, as you touched on there, it was actually a cover version. Her version was released in 1981. Joan Jett originally saw the Arrows, who recorded the original version, perform I Love Rock and Roll on their weekly UK television series Arrows, while she was touring England with her band The Runaways in 1976. She first recorded the song in 1979 with two of the Sex Pistols, namely Steve Jones and Paul Cook. Okay, the final version was released on vinyl in 1979 as a B-side to You Don't Own Me. In 1981, however, Jett re-recorded the song, this time with her new band, the Blackhearts. The recording became a US Billboard Hot 100 number one single for 7 weeks,
What?
being the only one for the band. That must trouble you, mustn't it? That you're only number one to cover, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dear. The music video for I Love Rock and Roll received heavy playlist by the fledgling at the time MTV network. It featured Jett and the Blackhearts travelling to a small dingy bar and then exciting the drunken crowd by performing the song and yelling out its chorus. Yeah, so she's on about trying to tap up a 17-year-old, isn't she? So she's singing it from...
It's not even 17, it looks about
Really?
17.
Let's get down to this then.
So, I don't know, she's hitting on him, and he doesn't even want to tell her his name, so this seems a bit even more dodgy.
This section of the show is brought to you by R. Kelly. So the first verse, I saw him dancing there by the record machine. I knew he must be about 17. They're dirty.
Stop
Beep,
that.
beep, beep. The beat was going strong, playing my favourite song, and I could tell it wouldn't be long till he was with me, yeah, me. And I could tell it wouldn't be long till he was with me, yeah, me. Now, do we know whether the Arrows were men or women? Let's have a look on my information device and I will let you know. The Arrows were a band based in London, England, blah, 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 blah. So who's in this band? Band members: Alan Merrill, Jake Hooker, Paul Varley or Terry Taylor. So now it takes us down the territory. Was the Arrows trying to tap up a young 17-year-old boy, or was it a young 17-year-old girl, or has Joan kind of adapted the lyrics to be seductive, to be a little bit...
And was the favourite song Thomas the Tank Engine?
Yes. That's all pertinent questions which we need to answer on this podcast. But all of those brief flirtations with paedophilia, with her trying to tap up a 17-year-old, are all forgotten about in the chorus because she loves rock and roll. So put another dime in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. So come and take your time and dance with me. Ow!
Yeah.
Right, so the story continues as we try and put some meat on the bones of this attempt by Joan Jett to tap up a young 17-year-old lad, or 16-year-old at the time, isn't he? He smiled, so I got up and asked for his name.
Doesn't take much.
The smile is all it took to get Joan up out of her chair.
To Thomas.
That don't matter. That don't matter, he said, because it's all the same.
Exactly.
He doesn't care.
That's how a kid would react, isn't it?
Yeah. I said, don't give your name to strangers. He's just following what his parents told him.
Stranger danger.
I said, can I take you home where we can be alone? Joan, no, Joan. He's only 16. Come on now.
Come on. That's
and next time we were moving on. He was with me, yeah, me. Next we were moving on. He was with me, yeah, me, singing. Joan's being very boisterous about her intentions with this young lad, isn't she? But again, she justifies it all with the chorus, I love rock and roll, so put another dime in the jukebox, baby. Do you reckon that could be a euphemism for slotting?
Slotting the old little coin
oh dear.
into the big
so
jukebox.
I love rock and roll. Paz speaks for himself when he insinuates that Joan Jett has a massive vagina. I will not like to comment on that. Those are the opinions of Paz alone. Nothing to do with me. So she justifies it again with her love of rock and roll in the chorus. Right, then we get said, "Can I take you home where we can be alone?" She's trying to groom the poor lad. Next we were moving on. "He was with me, yeah, me." She's telling everyone she can bump into that they're together, and we'll be moving on and singing that same old song, "Yeah, with me," singing. I wonder if it's a kind of nod at the promiscuous ways of rock stars, sleeping with young fans and stuff. What do you reckon? Could it be a little
bit, yeah,
a little accusation of them not caring, who knows, and that they're sleeping with young groupies and stuff of the time, 1981, remember? Before the Me Too.
A bit too deep for that, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count them 1, 2, 3.
While
not
they
4,
fade out.
Not 5. Yeah, fade outs of that chorus. "I love rock and roll, so put another dime in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll, so come and take your time and dance with me." Thoughts on that song, Paz?
Yeah. I think I've said all that I need to say on that. It's about rock and roll.
It's a bit close to the bone, isn't it?
Or rocking and rolling in a different way.
It'll be interesting to see the context in which the Arrows wrote that song, whether it was about them seeing a young 16, 17-year-old girl at the jukebox, or whether Joan kind of adapted the lyrics as a female singer for it to apply to a young boy. I say boy because he's not even a man, is he, at that age? I guess we should have maybe boycotted this one if we'd have known what it's about, like R. Kelly. It goes into like room. We've got room 101 where things go to be hidden away. Maybe we should call our R. Kelly room 101. So Joan Jett, you're in there. You're in there with R. Kelly at the moment. So our room 10. What could we call it? For copyright reasons, we can't call it 101. We can't call it 102 because someone's already done that as well. 103.
I don't know. I didn't really think about this, did I?
You look like you don't care, Paz. Come on, can we get with the program?
I'm not really
here?
bothered about this bit. No.
The name of the room where
let's just call it the dark room.
Broken, errant pop and rock stars go to be condemned for all of eternity. So room 103 is now got R. Kelly and Joan Jett in there. Okay, nothing more to add on that song. Just looking at the Wikipedia, there's not a lot more because it's a cover version. They haven't gone into too much detail there. It must be quite demoralising for that whole career that Joan Jett's had, that's her only number one, and it was a cover version that she kind of knocked out as a joke with the Sex Pistols when she first toured in the UK. There's one little byline to this song. In 1993, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts made another music video for the song as part of the Wayne's World 2 soundtrack. The video consisted of scenes from the movies featuring Mike Myers and Dana Carvey, mixed with footage of Jett and her band at a fake concert filmed at Irving Plaza in New York City. At one point during the filming, one person was introduced to the crowd as having been in the original video, and he was set up on stage to do a stage dive for that take. The song was again featured... that's boring. It was a B-side to another song I've never heard of. There we go. Yeah, so that's, again, it's considered a classic song, but I think we all know it. I mean, you knew it, didn't you? When you as soon as you saw the title of the song, I knew what it was as well. But yeah, it's not too deep or anything, is it? There is maybe less said about that song, the better.
And how deep it is, yeah.
And how deep her jukebox is, and how small that young boy's coins are. So that leads us nicely into our third song of the week. Could you fire up the random song generator, please, Paz, via the medium of your fingers tapping on the desk?
What song will we get?
Okay, so song number 3 this week. Oh my good God. I think you like this band, Paz, but I'm not too keen on them. I've heard it briefly on the radio at the time it was released. It was out in 2002, and it's by, I don't actually know where they're from. Are they from Brighton? Coldplay.
I don't know where they're from.
They're from the coast, aren't they?
From
down
here
there somewhere.
Yeah,
UK based. They're not really rockers, are they? What would you class them as? UK poppers?
Poppers.
Not to be confused with the drug of the gay scene of the same name Coldplay, 2002. The song is Clocks, which is that one with the ding 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 ding. To save everyone out there finding it on YouTube, that will be a perfect summary of that song. You'll know it from the ding 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 ding. I shall now download the lyrics and we shall give our interpretation of it. Thus ends the preview of that song. Speak to you on the other side, Paz.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the following track cannot be played. Search for it and see what you think.
And that was Clocks, released in November 2002 by Brit Poppers, Rockers, not really rockers, Coldplay. I'm sure a lot of you out there know that song, and a lot of you might know where they're from, but I don't really care where they're from. A bit beige, aren't they? What was your thoughts on that song, their famous song Clocks?
It was obviously about different types of clocks, digital clocks, one's grandfather clocks, and clocks in the sea.
Definitely.
Apparently. I thought...
There's definitely some clocks involved.
It's all about just the piano, really, and repeating it, and that seems to be really what the whole song's about, with some... I mean, the lyrics, if you can call them that... It just seems a bit random, just something to rhyme and go over the top.
They're a bit non-specific, aren't they? They're just rhyming couplets that he's put together to try and be atmospheric and to try and put some nice, imagery together. But there's no real story to the song, is there? I don't think. Which, from what I can tell, let's go through the lyrics. The lights go out and I can't be saved. Tides that I tried to swim against have brought me down upon my knees. Oh, I beg and plead. Singing, come out of the things unsaid, shoot an apple off my head. And a trouble that can't be named, a tiger's waiting to be tamed.
Yeah, well...
They're just, rhyming couplets, aren't they, really, that he's tried putting together to, as I say, go around that keyboard riff, which everyone knows has heard the song. The do 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 do. The chorus is just you are twice. I didn't actually know that. It just seemed like him wailing aimlessly out of tune like he normally does in most of his songs. Second verse, confusion that never stops, closing walls and ticking clocks. That's why the song's called.
And just because they mentioned clocks once, they named the song Clocks.
I should have called it a tiger, shouldn't they, or something? Or what else have we got? Knees. Singing.
Beg.
Apple. Should have been called Apple, shouldn't it? Confusion that never stops, closing walls and ticking clocks. Gonna come back and take you home. I could not stop that you now know. Singing, come out upon my seas, cursing missed opportunities. Am I part of the cure or am I part of the disease? And then he's singing, you are, over and over and over and over again. Then he rips off Sinead O'Connor. It was actually Prince that wrote it, wasn't it? Nothing compares to you. So he says, nothing compares to you at the end there.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, we can, if I want to give him some credit, I don't know why, but if I want to give him some credit, we can say that this is all stuff swimming around in his head.
Yeah. We're just being objective, aren't we? We're trying to find out what the key inspirations are around songs that we listen to. So this one, I guess, I was saying to someone the other day, one of the reasons I don't like Coldplay is because they've got no soul. And I couldn't put my finger on it. I was sitting there, they've got no soul. And my colleague Jenny, who I was speaking to at the moment, she said, do you know why people like it? Because they've got no soul either. That's why it sells to the masses, because the people with no soul listen to this garbage.
Simple stuff.
Simple, yeah.
Yeah, but as I said, if I want to try and be deep, he's just arguing the toss between himself in his head, and then he just keeps saying, you are.
What do you make of Chris Martin as a singer, Paz?
Well, he's got money, let's just say that.
Yeah, he has, hasn't he? So someone likes what he's doing.
Someone does.
Yeah. That's the least we can say, the better on that thing. I've never really rated him as a singer. I don't think he's got much of a range. But again, like you said, he's made his millions. He's made his mark on the musical, what would you call it? Wasteland. Wasteland of
somewhere around
pop music, yeah. But yeah, fair play to him. He's obviously come across a formula which works, and it's worked incredibly successfully for him. So the background to the song, let's see if we are being incredibly harsh and saying that it's just rhyming couplets. Clocks was written and composed during the late stages of production of Coldplay's second album, A Rush of Blood to the Head. A riff popped into Chris Martin's mind late one night in Liverpool when he came into the studio, where he then developed it on piano. According to singer Chris Martin, Clocks was inspired by the English rock band Muse, another band with no soul. Martin presented the riff to the band's guitarist Johnny Buckland, who then added a layer of guitar chords to the basic track. He picked up his guitar, a sure sign that he likes the song, Martin said, and played those brilliant chords. What brilliant chords? Do you remember any brilliant chords?
Yeah, I don't know
It was
what's
mixed
going on.
quite low, wasn't it, against the keyboard, so I don't remember any brilliant chords. It was like a chemical reaction process, said Martin.
Of course.
Blimey. It's like he'd written Bohemian Rhapsody, isn't it? Before writing and composing Clocks, the band had already written 10 songs for the album. Wow. However, because A Rush of the Blood to the Head was nearing completion, they thought it was too late to include a new song on it. Hence, they recorded it as a demo and saved it with other unfinished tracks, labelling it Songs for Album Number 3. The band intended these tracks would be for their third album. I see what they've done there. By June 2002, however, Coldplay were ready to present the new album to their record label, Parlophone. However, Martin thought it was rubbish. He wasn't too far wrong, was he? They were so far from being completely satisfied from the album that both the band and Parlophone delayed the release. Oh, Parlophone agreed with everyone else that it was rubbish. After a headlining tour, Coldplay went on working on songs for number 3. So the whole album got pushed on the backbone, and somehow it got released just with the inclusion of Clocks. Good Lord. Phil Harvey, the band's manager and a friend of Martin, heard it and pressed him to rework Clocks immediately. Harvey pointed out that with its lyrics that speak of urgency, its meaning contradicted Martin's idea of stashing the track. Thus persuaded by Harvey, Martin then further developed Clocks while other band members supplemented his work. You mean they must have added to that, let me get the quote again, those brilliant chords, which you can't even hear, adding bass and drums. Coldplay recorded the song very quickly because the schedule of A Rush of Blood to the Head was already been delayed. The album was then released 2 months later. Can we just take a step back here? So they gave the album to the record label, who said it was crap and they didn't want to release it, and they've added Clocks to it and taken it back to them, and the record label have released it. Is that what you're getting from this?
Yeah, and they said they rushed it. I mean, it was just basically, it's like having a loop.
Yeah, there's nothing to it.
And then adding some
bass and drums
basic lyrics
to quote those brilliant chords.
And then instead of having an actual chorus, just going, you are...
Yeah. So the themes of the lyrics include contrast, contradictions and urgency. I think whoever's written this Wikipedia page is overthinking it a bit here.
Yeah.
According to John Wiederhorn of MTV News, Martin seems to be addressing the helplessness of being in a dysfunctional relationship he doesn't necessarily want to escape. How's he got that from this? The lyrics are craptic even. The ending lines of the second verse emphasize contradicting emotion. Come out upon my seas, cursed missed opportunities. Am I part of the cure or am I part of the disease? The song's title also metaphorically alludes to its lyrics. Does it now? Just uses one of the lyrics from the song. Here we go. This pretentious twat continues. Pushing one to ponder about the world's obsession with time, whilst connecting it to the theory, making the best of it when we're here, present and alive. Good Lord. Let's have a look at what happened to it. Where did it go to in the charts? Paz, would you like to hazard a guess?
Probably number 1.
UK single chart. It only got to number 9. What a scandal. It got to number 1 in the adult alternative song chart in America. That's about it. It got to number 2 in Belgium. The Netherlands as well. Went to number 2 in the Netherlands. Anything you'd like to add on that classic?
Yes, let's wind the clock back.
Oh, yeah, let's wind the clock back so we didn't have to endure having to listen to that today. I think Coldplay can join R. Kelly and Joan and Jett in room 103, can't they? So never to darken our door again. Are we chucking the Rolling Stones in there as well, or are we letting them stay out until we've done Paint It Black?
I don't know. It's up to you, mate. It's your door.
Yeah, let's kick the pair of them in there. Rolling Stones and Coldplay, you're in there with Joan, Jett and R. Kelly. So that was Coldplay, Clocks. Have we got time for one more for the road, Paz? Have we got one more in the locker, Sunshine?
Yeah, go on then, might as well.
Okay, fire up that random song generator and let's see what we've got.
What song will we get?
We have band my dad loves, The Cure, Just Like Heaven. Robert Smith and The Cure. I don't think I know this song. I might know when it starts, but I've never really checked out The Cure, given them any kind of a go either way. So it'd be interesting to check this out. As I say, my dad loves The Cure, so be interesting to see this one. This is The Cure, Just Like Heaven.
Unfortunately, the following track cannot be played. Search for it and see what you think.
And that was The Cure with Just Like Heaven from 1987, from the album Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. So good, he said it 3 times. Paz, what did you make of that song then? Is that your first experience of The Cure?
I don't know if it's the first experience, but yeah, I don't know, I was expecting a different song. I don't know why, but that's all good. Yeah, not too bad. She's saying one thing and then she says another quite quickly at the beginning, if we're starting there.
Not to be a spoiler in any way, the song is about a trip on a boat that frontman Robert Smith took with his wife, and he was making connections between their trip on the boat and the conversation they were having at the time. First lyrics, show me, show me, show me. We should also say that it was a hell of an intro, wasn't it? It's 50 seconds before Robert started singing. Show me, show me, show me how you do that trick. The one that makes me scream, she said. The one that makes me laugh, she said, and threw her arms around my neck. Show me how you do it, and I promise that I'll run away with you. I'll run away with you. And there's a nice little rhyming couplet.
Could be a lot of innuendo going on there.
Yeah, it could be.
It
could
overall, be. Well, now you've said what it's about, but overall I was thinking just because of what happened at the end that this was just some girl inside his head.
1987, he could have just bought a Paul Daniels magic set and he was doing a trick that made her laugh.
He could well have.
She was his Debbie McGee.
That's a reason to run away with someone because of his Paul Daniels magic set.
she was the Debbie McGee to his Paul Daniels. You can't really imagine Robert Smith of The Cure, who's renowned for being a thoughtful goth, doing a magic trick from a magic set by Paul Daniels, can you? Well, that's what this show is all about.
Make her scream, make her laugh, images. And she's yours.
Well, what other tricks did he have in that Paul Daniels magic set, you're asking?
I don't know. There's the make the ball disappear.
Second verse.
Something out of the hat.
Hide the rabbit in the
go on, put your
sleeve,
hand in.
Spin it. So we go on to the second verse, which is about to reveal the second trick which Robert pulled out of that Paul Daniels magic set. Spinning on that dizzy edge, kissed her face and kissed her head. Dreamed of all the different ways I had to make her glow. Maybe he had some special serum that he applied to her that made her glow.
Radiation.
Yes. Why are you so far away, she said.
Because you... She's looking at the telescope the wrong way around.
It's the magic trick. Why don't you ever know that I'm in love with you? That I'm in love with you. And it's similar to the first verse. To hammer home that point, instead of him now declaring that he'll run away with you, he's declaring that I'm in love with you. So, the lyrics continue to somewhat of a chorus. You, soft and lonely.
You said it wrong anyway. It's
Did
soft
I?
and only.
Soft and only, okay. You, I've just improved it. Lost and lonely. You, strangers, angels. Dancing in the deepest oceans, twisting in the water. And he's back to his double repeated line. You're just like a dream. You're just like a dream.
A dream.
What did you make of that chorus?
Well, it doesn't really seem to be an actual proper chorus,
no.
Does it? It's
Don't be such a knee-sack, as you'll notice after the next verse, he does actually return to that bit, so it is in fact a chorus, Paz.
Well,
So you're
but he says a
stand
little
to be
bit. He
corrected.
changes it different, and it gets cut out straight away.
He does, and he
So,
includes the name of the song in there as well.
Just to put figure in right at the end.
Hold your horses, just a cut in second minute there, because there's a third verse. Yes. Daylight licked me into shape.
Yep.
I must have been asleep for days. Again, it's a Paul Daniels magic trick. He's knocked her over the head of his magic wand and sent her to sleep.
Doing a lot of licking into shape.
And moving lips to breathe her name, I opened up my eyes and found myself alone above a raging sea that stole the only girl I loved and drowned her deep inside of me. That's the best line of the song. I guess that's why he wrote the whole song around it, about drowning inside and the sea connotations and stuff. Then he returns to the piece of wordsmithery, which Paz doesn't consider to be a chorus.
Well, you know what I mean.
You soft and lonely, you lost and lonely.
Then he's written
you.
his rhyme in it.
And then he teases us in, instead
With
of
the same
going
word.
strange as angels, he's got just like heaven.
He could have
Boom.
been on the boat, and because he's gone asleep, she's actually fallen off.
Yeah, he could have kicked her overboard, couldn't he?
Yeah, and then just she wasn't with me in the first place. It's like,
According to Smith, the song is about hyperventilating when you're in love, kissing and fainting to the floor. You're that enamoured with somebody. The lyrics were inspired by a trip with his then girlfriend and later wife Mary Poole to Beachy Head in southern England. Beachy Head famously being a suicide point. Maybe we should cut that out. Smith said the opening line of the song, "Show me, show me, show me how you do that trick," refers to his childhood memories of mastering magic tricks. Hey, it was. It wasn't literal. It was literal, but added on another level. It's about a seduction trick I learned from much later in my life. The dirty old sod.
Come back to my place.
Man, the dirty old man.
I'll show you a magic trick.
Dirty old man. Where did this get to in the charts then? So it got to the UK charts. Can we have a drum roll, please? It soared into the top 40 at number 29.
29.
Yep.
Not 69?
No, number 29, mate. The highest it got, in fact, was the Irish charts at number 15. The Irish liked the sea shanty tales of Robert Smith and his chums in The Cure more than the UK, by the sound of it. Yeah, so what did you make of that song overall then, Paz?
Yeah, it was alright. It was alright.
Bit of something and nothing, wasn't it? I don't understand the devotion and fandom that The Cure fans seem to hold him in, really, after that first track. I shouldn't condemn him his whole career off the back of the second. Or I know Friday I'm in Love, so there's 2 tracks I know of by The Cure. Yeah, not really that impressed with that song. It was kind of a catchy kind of synth pop thing in the background going on there, wasn't it? It reminded me, I've written it down on my sheet, a goal of the month music, the background. I have the goal of the month on Match of the Day kind of thing. It was one of a number of songs around that time. They all sound like goal of the month incidental music, don't they? But yeah, that was written by all 5 of the guys in The Cure from their album Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. Anything to add?
No, that's just something.
Did you know, Paz?
I don't know.
That song was recorded in France.
Wow.
There you go.
It had that French flavour in there.
It did, didn't it? Yeah. I wonder what Paul Daniels and Debbie McGee is in French. Le Paul Daniels et le Debbie McGee. Yeah, maybe. We're going with that.
Or a pirate.
Or a pirate, yeah. It sounded a bit like a pirate, yeah. Okay, so that seems like a good note when my French impressions are descending into piratedom to call it a day for the episode 3, I believe, isn't it, Paz? It is episode 3.
It is episode 3.
We'll be back next time with more songs generated on our random song generator, and we'll try to give our interpretation of those songs and more in the coming weeks. So I've enjoyed myself today. We've chucked the Rolling Stones, Coldplay, and Joan Jett, in fact, into room 103. So it's been a productive day.
Very productive day.
What more could you have been doing with your time? It was more productive than that, Paz.
I don't know. Could have been writing some songs for The Cure.
We'll speak to you next time, pop pickers, and remember our catchphrase for the end of the show.
No, let me know. What is it?
Cue end credits. Or was it cue titles? One of the two. Cue end credits or cue titles.
Lyrical. What you hear is what you feel.